Hello, everyone. I, Megha Ahuja, welcome you all to Sashakt Dialogues, an attempt by Sashakt, the Ovarian Cancer Foundation, to break the silence and start meaningful conversations to combat unjustified cancer related stigmas. So, for this special episode, in which we are going to discuss about reduced marriage prospects for self or children post cancer, we have two inspiring guests with us today. Honey Kapoor, cancer conqueror, warrior with 1.5 legs, marathoner, rider, social activist, and a motivational speaker. And Dimple Parmar, founder Love Heals Cancer, founder ZenOnco.io, and a cancer counselor. Hi, Honey. Hi, Dimple. Welcome to the show. When we think of cancer, we think of struggle, pain, treatment. But one thought that never crosses our mind is marriage. Cancer survivors are either looked down with pity or celebrated as heroes. But what we usually forget that even these heroes have dreams, and those dreams can involve getting married and having a life partner. Starting with you, Honey, being a young cancer survivor yourself, how did your diagnosis affect your prospects for marriage?
It definitely changed our mind and just because of the society's mindset as well. And even if you talk about me as an individual, so yes, it changes the mindset because we feel like that there's no more life to for us going forward. But then I always say acceptance is the key to everything. If you accept yourself and if you love yourself, you can do anything, and whatever you have in your mind, you can do that. So the same way, for me, there was a time once I quit this marriage prospect wala part ki I won't be able to relive and I don't want to have a life in this as a partner's life. But then once you accept yourself and you are not worried about society's mindset, you can definitely go for what is best for you.
Very true. Coming to you, Dimple, you married Nitesh knowing that he's fighting cancer, which was quite a brave decision. It must have been really tough. What was your thought process when you made that decision?
So for me, Megha, it was a very simple decision, rather I'd say, because when doctors told us that he has only 6 months to live, no matter what, and I always, believed in hope, faith, and miracle. And I also knew that there are many stage 4 survivors out there who once had 1, 2, or 6 months to live, but still they are here with us from last 6 years, 12 years, and more than that. So, and we know the human body is very complex, and still a lot of things still needs to be explored. So, always had this hope that something can be done. And then, as I started exploring more about the clinical trials, advanced treatment, and a lot more other options, I also came across the story of Sati Savitri that when she fell in love with somebody who had only 1 year to live, and she told her parents that I want to, even though like after 1 year we don't know what will happen, but I still want to. And when what I heard in the story that when the Yamraj came to take her husband, she had a conversation which was very witty conversation with Yamraj, and then that's how she could bring her husband back from death. So that story gave me a sense of a belief, a faith that why can't be there is another story like this. Because in this, I wanted to do everything possible to save him. Did not want any stone unturned, and that was the single, straightforward decision for me that yes, I will do everything, and I will request or pray to God to save my husband, then my boyfriend or maybe my fiancé. Maybe then God will listen to me. So that was my motivation to do that.
That's very, very inspiring. I hope people around get partners like you. Coming to you, Honey, in the society we live in, what should cancer survivors do if they want to get married? How should they go about finding a life partner?
See, there's a proverb saying that pairs are being or couple are being made in heaven. So that is one thing. Fate is very important. But then, yes, as I say, for being a cancer survivor, what you can do is first of all, you need to accept yourself. Secondly, you need to live your life to the fullest. First of all, you need to be open and being transparent with yourself. That is the first part you can do. And then you have to accept the way you are. Once you will accept it, the other partner, it will be very easier for them to accept you the way you are. And then the third thing is a healthy lifestyle. Once you are healthy from your like mind, from your body, physically, mentally, and emotionally, if you're stable, you'll be able to give a better life to your partner. So this is what a cancer survivor can do. Because see, life is not in our hands. Life is just 10% what happens. Rest 90% is how we react to it. So the same way in terms of marriage or in terms of relationship, this is what we can do, and we shouldn't take ourselves as like the odd ones actually, because again we too are humans.
That's very true. But what happens is like most of the time, as soon as a family get to know that in the arranged, specifically in the arranged marriage setups, that as soon as the family get to know that the person is a cancer survivor or a patient, they vanish. How do these rejections impact the survivors, and how can they deal with it? Dimple.
Yeah, so also I have seen different kind of relations, to be honest, in this journey. I have seen people like, you know, spouse or partner sticking with the other partner who's going through the journey, and, you know, following the same lifestyle, everything, so that the other patient doesn't feel alone. At the same time, I've seen, you know, the relationship breaking and then again rebuilding once the partner understood that, you know, it was a mistake. At the same time, when you a woman, especially when she goes through ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, or probably breast cancer also, then there is a, you know, like people look at this from a very different perspective. And if a woman is not able to reproduce again, then again, okay, the everything is lost. So what I see that, you know, here, as Hani very well said, that it's really up to you how you present yourself, you know, the kind of way you want to lead your life, and you don't need any other partner to prove that you are as normal as anyone, you know, any other person. So a message would be to the person who has, you know, recovered, survived, going through the journey, to not really connect this with the other partner, rather making that self identity that yes, I have actually won the battle, which is the most difficult battle in the world, going through the cancer journey. If I can do that, then I can do anything else as well. So I don't really need a person with me all the time to give a stamp that, okay, you know, the way society sees it. So it's really up to the person how they stand out, and, you know, how they present themselves. We have many survivors, recurrence, or any stage, and the way they talk, it's really mind blowing, the way, you know, they present themselves, that women का identity उसके reproductive system से या फिर उससे नहीं होता है. And similarly same applies for men as well. So I've seen, you know, like one of my friend who from a very reputed institute of IIM in the country, and then when he was diagnosed with cancer, he completed the treatment, and now there are questions from the girl's parents that all of a sudden the most promising or the most wanted bachelor, from that to now people are raising questions that should we really take it forward from here. So during that time, it's up to the person, the partner, how they be with you during that journey. Like how I decided that I want to be with Nitesh in this journey, and there were people who would always say XYZ things, but then it's up to you how you present. And after some time, those people were only telling good things about us, that it was a brave and decision, all of those things. What matters that, okay, your loved one, for me, it's my close family, my parents, they were with me, and that's all you mattered to me, because they really understand you. So my parents' blessings were always with me, and it was my decision, and that's why I was able to do that. So not really thinking what society says or what any other person would say, because that's their thing. But then just your partner is what that matters. And if that person is not supporting you during this critical phase, then he is not your, you know, soulmate. So then you should really move on from that. Yeah.
Very true. And it usually happens, like people run away, and like once somebody like has overcome cancer, in a way, they're childhood cancer survivors also, and once they've overcome it, the whole issue is that even if they want to get married, they're ready for everything, they're physically fine, they're leading a healthy lifestyle. But when they go through the usual channel of finding a partner, one point is that either they don't tell about their cancer diagnosis. A lot of time, even people do that. But if somebody wants to be open and somebody doesn't want to hide what has happened to them, then it gets really, really difficult. So how do you think, Honey, he should go about it, he or she?
So again, the question is same, that if the person or the partner loves you, there's no question behind that part. And if you talk
But
about in
there
terms
is
of
no
arranged marriage,
partner. What if there is no partner? Yeah.
yeah. So coming to your question, only if in terms of, if you're talking about arranged marriage, then in that case, see, the first thing is it's really great if you open up at the very initial stage, because later on, if the partners or the other person get to find out that this person has a past or a history of this kind of chronic illness or a disease, so it becomes a little messy. So rather, it's really very good to share the actual status of what our health concerns are, but then it completely matters on the person that is like you're talking to, what their mindset is. If they're ready to accept what you have been through, so then it's really very easy for them to have a good relationship. Otherwise, if the person is not ready to accept you now, then there's no chance. So in Dimple's word, you actually need to think either to move on or to the next person or to find a new soulmate.
Also, yeah, to add on to that, Megha, the way I think that can happen, I know a few people who are working on matrimonial sites for cancer warriors. That will take some time for sure to make that kind of platform. But also, I see, there are many community support groups and there are support groups for youngsters at the same time. So how we, usually people find their soulmates or partner through your like colleagues or friend's friend or something like that. Similarly here, now they are their community members. So I've seen people finding their life partners even from those support groups as well. So join the support groups, and in fact when you have gone through the journey, you can actually, so it's like you're doing two things, one thing, and you're getting double benefit. So when you really join those groups and help others, so and that's how you present your journey. Now the way you're presenting is that yes, it was difficult, but I have overcome, and these are my learnings, and then that's the way you are guiding and inspiring others also. So there, I have seen that there will be some or other people who will get really impressed and inspired by it, and then that's how the conversation, relation, friendship, and the journey starts. So those few can be things to take it forward. Yeah.
Definitely, yes. Support groups overall play a very major role in any cancer journey, because when you meet people who've gone through the similar journeys, you can connect at another level. And yes, you're very right that that is kind of a right place to find a partner. Once an oncologist shared with me that a boy came to consult her about her fiance's mother's cancer diagnosis. And the only thing he wanted to know is how much probability is there that his fiancée will inherit cancer, and should he break the engagement right now? It's definitely a pathetic thing, but that's what we are as a society. What's your take on it?
It's about the people mindset, because if that person is doubting and have a question in his mind about his fiancée, I do understand that there's a kind of a fear that my fiancée is going to inherit this kind of disease and it will be a very difficult phase for me or something like that. But talking about my case, in my case, it was completely opposite. That my wife, I was in a relationship. It's a love marriage, and we were in a relationship for 2 years. But then my in-laws were completely against it, and the only reason they were against it because of the cancer and because of the disability, because I have already lost my right leg to cancer. So we cannot question anybody's mindset, because if they are afraid about that part, we cannot do, and we cannot change everybody's mindset. So again, in the same scenario, if the person is not able to accept you in a situation you are into right now, they won't be able to stand if you are into that situation again or into a very kind of messy situation later on in your life. So that's why we say your choice matters. Whenever you decide something or you choose a person, so you need to take a stand for that, like very carefully.
Very true. So, along with the external factor, there are sometimes internal stigma involved as well. Some survivors may prefer isolation and loneliness than resuming their life even after the cancer is in remission. What advice would you like to give to them, Dimple?
Yeah. This is very common as well because the trauma of the diagnosis and treatment is a lot. And many times, and also now your colleagues and everybody else looks at you from a very different perspective. In fact, there's a girl who said that, I lost my hair, and then I go to office every time a new person meets me and asks that, okay, did you have cancer? And then a lot of questions around that. So a lot of the time, because see, we cannot always change the society, that's for sure. Now here, what we need to do is really, inculcate few habits or few practices or our own mindset. That's in our control, nothing else. So here, we need to also focus on rehab, because not much focus is being given on that, because in cancer, what is really important is prehab and rehab. Prehab is when what you do before the treatment begins. There is a counseling and therapies, be it physiotherapy, be it emotional wellness, be it making your mind strong to go to the treatment. And there is rehab where you again, after the treatment is over, you come back to the initial state you were in, like when you did not have cancer. It takes time to, from the professional perspective, to go back to the job, working again as you were working before, from your lifestyle perspective, from relations and many other perspectives. So it's a part of rehab. So one who is going through it should definitely, seek rehab facilities, not as in living and visiting, but rather can be virtual at the same time. Also connecting with other survivors who have gone through that journey, maybe 2 years back, 5 years back, because they have also gone through the similar cycle. And after 1, 2, 3, 4 years, they have really transformed and have already come over the situation. So talking to that really helps. Talking to a professional, maybe psychologist or somebody again who understands cancer, because not every psychologist really understands cancer. So talking to any psychologist might not help, but somebody who is associated with the cause really helps. Now, once you overcome your inner barriers, it's not something which is with the, as you rightly said, it's the inner, maybe it's depression, maybe it's like, you are scared cancer might come back, you're scared how would people see you, perceive you, all of that part. So it's really within your own mind. Once you overcome, there are many people who are like, boldly posting their bald photos, their scar photos. They are not wearing any of them, big or anything like that, and traveling everywhere. So, and they are very, very happy about it. So it's really up to the individual, because you will not be definitely able to change thousands of people, but you can really change yourself. So when you make that small difference here, that this is what it is, and this is how I'm going to lead my life, it's the entire world changes. You don't have to really change the world, but the entire world still changes the way you look at it again. So I think these kind of things will definitely help them. And also worrying about fear of relapse is never going to help. In fact, it's your thoughts that is attracting it. So I've seen people, because they were worried about fear of relapse, they got relapse. And there are studies done on this, on group of people, trials and everything. So rather, what we should worry, okay, what can I do so that I reduce my chances of recurrence? And that's where anti-cancer lifestyle programs and all of these things help, because you are giving your best by following those approaches, and that's all you can do right now. So and then living your life the way you want, because this is the second chance that you got at life, and you got to live it fully without really worrying about anything else, because you have gone through hell, and this is the another chance, a purpose, a meaning of this life that you have got. So that's the approach that one should take.
And even adding to Dimple's point, there's one thing that every individual has a different way of dealing with the situation or their life. So it doesn't matter how you're dealing. Again, being a cancer survivor, I would tell you, and I'll share the scenario wherein I represented myself whenever I'm sharing, like I wanted to, like I'm talking to anybody or seeking some kind of relationship. So the way you represent yourself, because the way you have accepted yourself and you love yourself, you can represent yourself in the same way. So in my case, I always say the other partner in a way that you are going to date a person who is from the 3% of Indian category. You won't be able to find a person like me who's a combination of a cancer survivor and an amputee. And so these are the things. So I always say the way you represent it, it definitely changes the person's perspective and their mindset. So you yourself are the change which can bring the change, but you need to have a stabilized mindset and emotional balance and physical health for these kind of things.
And I absolutely agree to that. In fact, cancer survivors can be a better, like I've met a lot of survivors while working for my organization. And one thing that I've observed that the way they perceive life and the way they live life, it's much better than any normal person. So they can prove to be better partners than other people, definitely.
Yeah. So there's the
All about just
cancer word
perspective.
is, yes,
And
cancer
as
word
far as
itself is,
death is concerned, like in today's life, it has become so fragile that anybody can die of COVID today. Forget about anything else. Like COVID has told us in last few months that people who were the fittest, we lost them without any prior notice. In just a matter of like 10 days, 15 days, we've lost people just like that. So why just cancer? Why just pinpoint cancer to be a death sentence? Why just thought of cancer survivors as the ones who will probably get cancer again and the life will be tough? Life can get tough for anybody anytime without any prior notice. So I think it's very important that we look at them as any other human being without tagging them as a survivor or a, because there's so many other diseases that can come post marriage also. So whatever has happened to them, it has happened, and now they have overcome it. They are already a fighter. So I think as a society, the perspectives need to change, and they should be looked like any other person. So as we conclude, what are the last words of wisdom you would like to share with our viewers regarding broadening their thinking and breaking the stigma? Starting with you, Honey.
so in my case, I always say cancer itself says you cancer. So believe in that. And there's a mantra of mine which says broken crayons still colors. Even if you break the crayon, it definitely can be the same colors. So the similar way, even if an individual or a person has been through any kind of chronic illness, maybe it's cancer or anything, so still you can be the reason and be the source of light for others as well to create and to share the happiness in their lives. And you can be the reason for that part.
Beautiful. Dimple, what are the last words of wisdom you would like to share with our viewers?
Yeah, so I would like to share with all the warrior survivors, winners, that you have gone through cancer, which is the most scariest disease in the world. And if you can overcome that, you can overcome any obstacle, what may come on your way. And for them, the purpose of life has changed. The perception towards relationships and life is completely changed. And your journey itself is very, very inspiring. You don't need anybody else's approval that you are normal, because you are not normal. You are very special. And treat yourself in that way. Love yourself and do whatever it takes. Focus on self-care, and the way you will feel good, happy, and joyful. It will be just amazing. So we all are very, very inspired by all of your journey. Doesn't matter what is the outcome, whether somebody survives, doesn't survive. It's the process that matters, and the process should be beautiful. Should be a process where we create memories, and that's what matters. So ultimate death or life, it's not in our hand, but what we can do is to make it beautiful every single moment. And you all have done it. So a big salute to all of you, and thank you for being the inspiration.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honey and Dimple, for this insightful discussion. I'm sure our listeners are going back with changed perspectives. I hope with changing times, people look at cancer in different light, and many more cancer survivors combat the stigma, find love, and live a fulfilling life. On this note, it's me, Megha Ahuja, signing off for the day. Take care and stay sashakt.